Well, here we go again. Another take on this video. I'm so excited I can't get all my facts down. And a lot of this video is going to be incomplete. I came across a fabulous website about Rick Springfield last night. Clicked it off and now I forgot where it was at. So you just have to make do. But still, I got a lot of information I want to unpack about, Rick Springfield coming in at number 6, up 1 from 37. It's a tight playlist. Fancy playlist of June the 4th, 1984. And you know Rick Springfield could do no wrong in the early 80s. Summer of 81, Jesse's Girl popped up to number 1. I've Done Everything for You, one of the few songs that Rick Springfield did not write, but it rocked. Rick Springfield, sort of an amorphous character in a way, in the sense that he could do hard rock and yet be bubblegum, somewhat bubblegum. He had it both ways and was successful at it. And few people snickered at him. I've Done Everything for You, one of his best. It rocked. And then Love Is All Right Tonight, he rounded out 1981 with that fabulous record. Boy, he was a fantastic vocalist too. And then 1982, Don't Talk to Strangers. What kind of fool am I? And I get excited. Remember, I get excited thinking what she might be like or something like that. Although that made it something to like number 30 on Billboard's Hot 100. 1983, Affair of the Heart, and Human Touch. Human Touch was spectacular. Big in the summer of 1983. Now we get into 1984, Love Somebody, Don't Walk Away, and the movie is called Hard to Hold. That's the name of the movie, Hard to Hold. Rick Springfield's. He was in that movie. His big film debut, very successful in television, and but you know Rick Springfield, I go back. His very first American hit. Late summer, fall of 1972 when he did Speak to the Sky. You got the folk, you got bubblegum, you got a little bit of maybe a couple of hedges of country within the melodic foliage of this record. And it was and even though Speak to the Sky very rarely played on the oldie stations, it went to a respectable number 14 on Billboard's Hot 100. Rick Springfield, he was in a group called Suit when he was in Australia. That's where he's originally from, Australia. And actually, before he joined Suit, he was in another band that toured Vietnam, playing for the Australian troops in Vietnam. 1968, 1969. Joined Suit in 1969. And boy, they did a fabulous rendition of Eleanor Rigby. Not as good as the Beatles version. Can't beat the Beatles version, but we're talking about a little bit heavy metal thunder, some psychedelic drenched guitars in this record. Their version of Eleanor Rigby comes Iron Butterfly and Cream comes to mind, and it surfaced on one of the Australian charts, and I'll give it to you real quick. Let me bring Go Set National 60 Pop. This is in Australia, the week of March 6, 1971. Eleanor Rigby by The Suit, Rick Springfield's band at number 4. Number 4. Right behind Knock Three Times by Don, Tony Orlando and Don at number 3. The Push Bike song by the Mixtures. That was a brilliant novelty record. Didn't do diddly squat here in the States, but was big overseas. Push Bike song at number 2, and My Sweet Lord by George Harrison at number 1 on this Go Set National 60 Top Pop charts in Australia. This was in 1971. Check out. They still got the video on YouTube. Eleanor Rigby It's a Treat by The Suit. Well, anyway, this has been an uphill climb for Rick Springfield. Now, he came out with a song in 1974 called American Girls. It died at number 98. And he did a fabulous song in this. Oh, man, Summer of 76. Rick Springfield came within a hair of going top 40. Take a Hand was the name of the song. The album, I forgot the name of the album. I wrote down the name of the album. I believe it was called Wait for Night. He played all the instruments on that album except for the drums. And guess who played drums on that album? Nigel Olsson, formerly worked with Elton John. Take a Hand was an anthem. It was a brilliant rock. It was just a great record. I mean, it had the potential. Summer of '76, this could have been a big hit in the summer of '76. It played alongside records like Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel by Tavares, or If You Need Me Now by Chicago, I Really Love to See You Tonight by England Dan and John Ford Coley, or More by the Andrea True Connection, summer of '76, but it was not to be. Just died at number 41. And that's it. And he did a soundtrack. He was in a cartoon, Mission Magic. I can't talk about it that much right now. I listened to a little bit. He did the songs on that cartoon show, which ran on ABC back in 1973. And these songs were credible. They were credible. Bubblegum, a little bit of rock and roll. The guy was just very talented. Now, the TV part of it, he was more successful in the '70s. He made his first television debut, I got it down, $6 Million Man. Played in an episode of $6 Million Man in 1977. And the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew shows, he played Ned Nickerson, and that was later on in '77. Of course, Noah Drake. He was on Noah Drake at Dr. Noah Drake at General Hospital back in the early '80s. So now we come to this movie. The movie is called Hard to Hold. And Rick Springfield, he plays a pop idol who, I guess he gets into a car accident. I never saw the movie. I just read a little bit about it. He gets into a car accident. He meets a child psychologist. The child psychologist, her name is Diane Lawson, and she is not impressed. Rick Springfield's really big. He's big on women. I mean, he can, but she's not impressed. And his character was, he was just successful with women, but she was not impressed. And as a matter of fact, she's never heard of him in the movie. So he tries to win her affections in this movie. Now, the way that Rick Springfield described it, a guy comes up to Rick Springfield. I guess he's a Hollywood producer or somebody. He says, "Man, we can make some big money off this movie, kid. Just check out this script." Rick Springfield, he looks at the script. What the hell is this? He throws it across the room. He says, "This is a piece of..." And they're going, "Man, look, if you do this, you're going to make a lot of money." So Rick Springfield, he laughs. He picks up the script. He says, "Well, okay, I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can make something out of this." And, he joked about it later on in his career. In his concerts, he joked about the movie. Now, I don't know how successful the movie was. I remember hearing about it in 1984. But according to Wikipedia, it grossed over $11 million. Hard to Hold. And I guess it's not bad. Is that bad or is that good? It's not $100 million, but still, 11 million. So you got these songs off the movie. Love Somebody, that went to number 5, and Don't Walk Away. That was a powerful record by Rick Springfield. Man, he had a great voice. You know what's interesting too about Rick Springfield? Now, obviously, when he went with Jesse's Girl in 1981, he was no spring chicken. It was still very much a work in progress. He had been at this playing music, playing this guitar, singing. He's been doing it for years. And the thing about it is, although he was a teenage heartthrob, there was a lot of women like this guy. A lot of teenage girls like this guy. As a matter of fact, I was acquainted with a very attractive woman about 19 or 20 years old, had that long hair. Remember the 80s hair, the curly 80s hair? She had that. And she had the album Working Class Dog. She was a big Rick Springfield fan. She was about 19, 20, 21 at the time. But the thing about it was, Rick Springfield, he was over 30. He had turned 35 in 1984. Well, so you got Don't Walk Away, Bop Till You Drop. Remember that? Followed 1984. Boy, that was a good one. That was a good dance record. And Taxi Dancing. I don't know if anybody remembers Taxi Dancing. He did with R&B jazz singer Randy Crawford. And then it just kind of well, these things happen. You pick and you kind of, well, I'm trying to think of a politically correct word to say. Well, you don't do as well. State of the Heart came out in 1985. That went to 22. And there was Rock of Life, his last top 40 hit here in the States. That went to number 22 in 1988. But boy, I tell you, there was a time where Rick Springfield could do no wrong. And 1984 was one year. And he is up to number 36 on my fantasy playlist of June the 4th, 1984. Rick Springfield, Don't Walk Away.